Welcome to the CEO Crowd Show. It's your host and coach, Rebecca Nesbitt here. And today we're talking about making a big ask. This is something that was presented to us actually by one of our network members a few weeks ago. We interviewed Alexandria Maria on this show, and I shared later on my Instagram stories that was a really big ask for me. I was nervous to make it, and I was in shock and awe when she said yes. So, when I shared that, one of our network members join us for one intimate networking event per year and then quarterly at larger events. She dropped me a message and she said, "Thank you so much for sharing that. Actually, making a really big ask." And I thought, wow, it's probably not just me that's making these big asks, right? So I thought I would share with you, if you've never heard of the concept of a big ask, what it is, and then the one way that you can ensure that every ask you make is successful going forward. So let's get into what is a big ask in the first place. So, a big ask is something that requires you to take courageous action. It is not scary, but it feels expansive. Like if you feel in complete fear and you're like, I really just don't want to ask, then that's not the big ask. The big ask feels exciting and like, oh my gosh, if this person said yes, or that they would help me, or that they love me back, it would be the best thing in the world, right? So it's not like it's your only option. Okay, so I want to really distinguish what ask we're talking about right now, because we're talking about when you want to ask of someone else their support, their insight, their inner thoughts that expand your life. And if they say no, like it's not like the end of the world, your chicken little and the sky is falling. It might feel like that, but it's actually not like that. That's the big ask. So, first of all, let's hype you up a little bit for your courage, because the fact that you dared to dream to have this ask in the first place deserves a pat on the back and a round of applause, because it means that you're not only a dreamer, which we love, you're ready to be a doer too. You thought of this ask because you're ready to step it up a notch. You're ready to up level, whether that is asking someone to be your first hire, asking someone to come on your show, your podcast, your YouTube, sharing with someone that you love them. Whatever the ask, I'm proud of you for thinking about it. That's the first step. And now, really proud of you for having the audacity to go after it, because lots of people can think of the ask, but not many people action the ask. But there's one strategy that is not widely shared. People are just like, you'll get to the point where you'll be so excited about it and you'll be so hyped up for it. And there might be a little bit pain pushing you too, but you're so excited about it, you'll just do it because you have this vision of a greater life. And that's very noble. I'm not always that noble. Just being honest. If you're doing things that are scary, especially if you're making big asks, big, bold, brave asks on a regular basis, that's not just from your willpower. You can't rely on your willpower for anything, right? So we need a strategy for when I have this ask and I'm scared to, I'm going to do it. And this strategy is aptly named support. Support. This is the number one thing. I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago in the CEO crowd, we were on a co-working call and it was specific to social media. So we have 2 co-working calls a month and one is specific to social media. It's extended because we all leave that till last. It's not just us in the CEO crowd. From our market research, we know that it's something that affects all entrepreneurs. So we're all leaving that till last, so we give it extra time. And at the end of our calls, we split off into small breakout groups so that people can, talk about what they've been working on and just deepen their relationships with our members. And we come out of that call and we go into our community, or I go into our community later on that day, and I see this message. And in one of the breakout groups, and this is why no one should ever build a fan club when it comes to community, but that's another topic for another day. See this message, and one of the women in the CEO crowd shares that she was nervous to open a message, she was nervous to respond to a potential client, and while she was in that breakout session, the other CEO crowd member really encouraged her and supported her, and she felt like she could do it, she could open the message, she could respond to the message because she had support. So when we think big ask, we do think something that is just life-changing. But if you're just at the beginning, everything feels like a big ask. And what you need around you is support, because let's go there, because your brain will. So let's do it together. Worst case scenario. What is holding us back is this person's going to say no, or they're going to say, I don't love you back, or they're going to be rude. And if that happened, you need people to lift you back up. You need people who know you, who know what you're capable of, who believe in you, who will check in with you. That's who you need around you. And if you're saying, you know, that's all very well and good, but I don't have those people in my life, well, that's your first big ask, my friend, is that there are people out there that are willing to support you. And it's building up those relationships, or it's asking someone that's maybe slightly ahead of you in the business game, for example, that is like a caring, nurturing person. Maybe they've been keeping up with you on socials, and you're like, hey, I'm making a big ask tomorrow. Could you check in with me tomorrow evening or in a few days' time just to talk about how it went? There is no one that's going to say, absolutely no, not going to do that. And I say there's no one, but there's no one that is caring, compassionate, and for your growth that's going to be like, absolutely no, there's no way, and be rude to that ask. But that might be the first ask, is set someone up for the exact day and time that you've got something going down. The closer to it, the better. If you can have, a friend, a soul sister, a business bestie call you directly after you're meant to get out of a meeting, or be with you while you're sitting, sending the message, like whatever it is, have them there to support you for if it goes wrong, as much as if we went best case scenario, because we want to end on a high point, because the likelihood is that it's never going to be worst case scenario. But if it is, you have support now. We love that for you. What if it's best case scenario? What if you get a yes? And I love you too. You get overwhelming gratitude for your ask. Then you need people to celebrate with you, boo, because you definitely are not doing that enough for yourself. Okay? You need people around you that are like, that's amazing. Just like we had in the CEO crowd, someone to hold space. And then after, oh my goodness, the response in that comment thread was just beautiful. Like, oh, my whole heart is full, because when women support women, we change the world. I do believe that. Women lift economies, women lift women. It's like one and the same. So have those people around you to celebrate with. You're either going to commiserate or you're going to celebrate, but either way, they're there. You have them set up in advance. This is what no one's telling you about the big ask, because they're just saying, make the ask. And they're not giving you any strategy or support to actually make the ask. So create your own support, my friend. And with that, you have your ask. You are ready. You're not fooling either of us. You are. I know it. You know it. Let's move on. It's time to find that support, and then make the ask that we know you can make, that we believe in you to make. You can do this. And if you don't have the support or have a place to put out this ask, we'd love to invite you to be a part of our CEO Crowd Network. Come along to our free networking events and make that ask in real time. We facilitate you to make those asks. We have women that come in, they share their pitch, and I'm like, girl, what do you need help with? We know we can support you. So if you're looking for a place for those asks to go, then you are invited to our Zoom room so that you can present it to said Zoom room and 250 plus of our closest friends via the replay. The details of that are in the description. And until next week, we'll be over here making some big asks, knowing you will be too, and believing in you.